Bucket lists can be so elusive. Chip away as you can, though. Time is of the essence, and ticking away, never to return. Before I even began my flight training, I wanted to land at Dauphin Island, a carrier-like strip of asphalt off the Alabama coast. I set out for Mobile to see a new-to-me city from a new-to-me perspective. These kinds of trips used to feel like a huge endeavor for me. Now, they're easy and relaxing. Amazing what experience brings as a peace offering from the existential stresses of learning to fly and getting out there on your own. This whole flying thing, man, I wish I could have started young. So I think, at least. I do find myself thinking a lot, well, better late than never. Which really means something more like, it's about time. I always wanted to be a pilot in the back of my mind. My dad was a pilot, so of course I wanted to be one too. It took me about a half century to make it happen. Better late than never. You hear this all the time, better late than never. It feels almost glib, but then again, so are a lot of rusty truths. My life has been a series of better late than never moments. That phrase tends to bemoan being slow to realize or actualize our true intentions, as if we are so often latent to our true calling. But there is no singular true calling. There are waves of those. They cascade down and smash against the rocks of our life's circumstances. It is the swan song of the impatient, like me. Things have to evolve, elapse. Pieces have to line up. Things have to fall into place, even though you put the pieces where they are. I've said this to myself so many times, better late than never. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a writer. I remember I even created a magazine with a friend, and we made it on copy machines by hand, mailed them out. I just wanted to write, so I did. Until the next thing came along. In my teenage years, all I wanted to do was play music. I wanted to play drums. It took until I was out of my parental home and on my own before I could get a drum kit and start playing. My highest musical aspiration at that point was to be able to just play a show and not get booed off the stage for being wholly incompetent. 6 months into playing, I was playing in front of 1,000 people, and they didn't boo me off the stage. I was meant to do that until the next thing came along. By the time I was in my late 20s, all I wanted to do was record and produce music. I had a studio and a different point of view.
November 5116 Lima, contact Mobile departure 118.5.
Over to departure 118.5, 5116 Lima.
I engineered and mixed and produced a lot of records for many years. It was my calling, what I was always meant to do, until the next thing came along. In my mid-30s, I gave all that up. I went back to school, and I studied documentary filmmaking, writing, and new media, just for fun. It reinvigorated my love of art, writing, and other disciplines. It was my Renaissance period. I rode my bike over every square mile of New York City. It was all I wanted to do. Until the next thing came along. In my 40s, as drones became something more attainable and useful, I embarked on a career as a drone cinematographer. I worked on many documentaries and films, commercials, music videos, and did my own creative work using drones for many years. And I thought, wow, this is what I should really be doing. Until the next thing came along. I started podcasting. I started making documentaries. I started a business doing videography, photography, still making music, writing, still doing in some form all of the things I'd always done until the next thing came along.
Jeremiah in traffic, Cherokee 516 Lima, joining midfield left downwind 12, Dauphin.
I started flying airplanes. Now I think I've arrived. All the plates and places that I've been spinning and moving through and around, the harmonic convergence has arrived. I'm doing everything I've ever wanted to do. My bucket list for flying is long, but I made it here for this one, to Dauphin Island. The approach and landing in a convincing crosswind was as exhilarating as I could have hoped.
Jeremiah in traffic, Cherokee 516 Lima, left base 12, Dauphin. Jeremiah in traffic, Cherokee 516 Lima, final 12, Dauphin.
Eventually, you run out of times the next thing can come along. Just pick something and do it. Move from one to the next without fear or hesitation. None of these things define you. What you do does not define you, but the patterns you find in taking different endeavors, I think, reveals perhaps more than you would have seen about yourself than if you'd stuck with one thing in perpetuity. Something to ponder, I guess. The tapestry of your life's work is complex. There are a lot of layers, a lot of stitching. Just keep weaving. Keep figuring it out. Keep trying different things. Eventually you'll see a larger pattern has formed. A mandala of your existence will reveal itself. And just when you begin to think you've got nothing left to give, just as you began following those early impulses, just when you think you have nothing left, you'll start again at the beginning of something else. Now here I am again, writing, making videos. I guess my mom was always right. Before I had gone down all these different roads, I think she knew what I would be doing.
Okay, and what do you see me doing in like 20 or 30 years?
You're probably standing around with a video camera. Video journalism.
What's your next thing? Whatever it is, better late than never.